And of course, the big story, of course, continues to be Maharashtra, where the power tussle between the Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and the Shiv Sena rebel Eknath Shinde has only intensified. Now, at least 20 MLAs camping with Eknath Shinde are reportedly in touch with the Maharashtra Chief Minister, say sources. The Shiv Sena is also planning to take action against Eknath Shinde and the other rebel ministers with him. According to sources, Ministers Eknath Shinde, Gulab Rao Patil, Dada Bhose are likely to lose their portfolios and face action against them. But that's not all. The Maharashtra Minister Uday Samant today also landed in Assam's Guwahati and joined the rebel MLA. So he now becomes the 9th minister to join the Eknath Shinde camp. And now the governor has stepped in. Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari has written a letter to the DGP directing him to provide adequate police protection to the rebel MLAs and their families immediately. Let's go across to Saurav Gupta, who's monitoring this story. So many fast-moving developments here, Saurav. But first and foremost, what exactly does this letter say? And based on what has the governor now stepped in to this matter?
Well, the governor stepped in, but it comes after what we've been reporting is that the centre has already provided apparently wide category security to these MLAs. So I think the governor is speaking about their supporters, etc. But the fact is that we've seen an uncharacteristically aggressive Aditya Thackeray also just address Shiv Seniks here at the Sena Bhavan, at the Yuva Sena National Executive, which is of course a body that he heads himself. And he's hit out at the rebels camp, especially, let's say, for example, Dada Bhose, who's the agriculture minister, who he says should be here in Maharashtra talking about the rains because the rains are late and the farmers are worried. But he's sitting in a state where there's a flood, not bothered about the constituents or the responsibility that he has towards Maharashtra, which is ensure that the farmers here and their grievances are looked after. He's also said some of the people who've gone were with us till yesterday. We've given them everything they've asked for, but they have still betrayed us. Then, of course, he said that these people say that they are Bala Sahib's Shiv Seniks and they are Anand Dighe's Shiv Seniks. So then perhaps they need, the lesson in the language of Bala Sahib and Anand Dighe. And that, of course, is something that, Shiv Seniks are known for. Now, several Shiv Seniks have been out on the streets, targeting these rebel MLAs because constituents are angry with them over their not being available in their constituencies. These are MLAs who are from Maharashtra. They are ministers from Maharashtra, but they've left the state. They've escaped, literally run away, and they are holed up in a 5-star hotel in Assam. Now, Aditya Thackeray said that, if the BJP has nothing to do with it, then why was the need for the state or the centre to, go and provide them security? Or, for example, why were their leaders meeting these rebel MLAs? He also says the only option left before these rebels is to join Prahar or, join BJP. They have no choice. He said some of them want to come back because of that. He also said Eknath Shinde had been offered the CM's post, but he chose to backstab Uddhav Thackeray, who trusted him blindly, who had given all the responsibility of, of meeting MLAs, of discussing their demands, of, addressing their needs to Eknath Shinde. But it was Eknath Shinde who backstabbed them. And of course, Aditya Thackeray, very, very aggressive in that speech. The governor also stepping in after release from hospital, right into the debate. And many of these opposition parties have always alleged that the governor's office has become extensions, especially in opposition rule states, have become extensions of the BJP. The Raj Bhavans have become an extension of the BJP office. That is, of course, an allegation that's been made. The BJP on its part has denied anything to do with it. But, there's also talks of that secret meeting between Devendra Fadnavis, top leaders of the BJP, and Eknath Shinde in Baroda. So the BJP's denials not really, making any sense given the fact that it has the Operation Lotus imprint written all over this. But the Shiv Sena is not giving up at this point, fighting tooth and nail. And also there's going to be more action. The cabinet, portfolios of these ministers are going to be taken away. And remember, Uddhav Thackeray is of course been unwell also, and he said that, you know, I trusted him blindly because he was a Shiv Sainik, but he's betrayed my trust. So really these developments moving, very quickly. The Shiv Sena's legal team also held a meeting saying that they cannot form a breakaway group, and independently the only option left for them is either to join Prahar, which is Narayan Rane's outfit, and also or join the BJP, which is seemingly, at least while it denies it, emphatically behind this whole rebellion to topple another opposition government in Maharashtra. The BJP has been accused of doing this in state after state. Aditya Thackeray says they've gone there for money. Central agencies being misused is the common refrain amongst opposition states, especially agencies like the ED. The Enforcement Directorate has been used here too, is what the Shiv Sena alleges. And of course, that is what it is at this point. But you don't see any let up, or you don't see any signs of the Shiv Sena, buckling to any kind of pressure from the rebels yet. The Shiv Sena very much choosing to fight this out as long as it's required to.
As you're saying, they're planning to take action and take away the portfolios of some of these rebel ministers. But sort of, before I let you go, can you give us an overall picture of where we stand in terms of the numbers? Because we know now that one more Maharashtra minister has joined the rebel MLAs, right? So that's now the 9th who's moved over. Yet at the same time, the Shiv Sena, you're saying, digging in its heels, fighting back, threatening to take away some of their portfolios. And we're also hearing that there are differences within the Eknath Shinde camp over these plans to merge the group with the BJP. So overall, a quick, big picture, where do we stand right now in terms of numbers, etc.?
Well, what we are being given to understand by sources is when Eknath Shinde led this rebellion, or when he started this, he promised many of them that, look, this is just to remain in the Shiv Sena, and that, we will only offer support to the BJP, which was acceptable to many MLAs. Now the question is that it's not about that anymore. They have to merge with the BJP or merge with Prahar, which is Narayan Rane's outfit. And that is something that's not acceptable to many MLAs, simply because of the fact that the BJP already has candidates in these constituencies. So, in that case, the BJP, of course, may not give them tickets the next time around, and that means the end of their political, or at least a huge blow to their political careers. So, this is something, and Aditya Thackeray saying that if these rebels have the guts, then come back to Mumbai and talk to us face to face. He also saying, I can defeat each and every one of them. So, like I said, a very uncharacteristically aggressive Aditya Thackeray. Yesterday, of course, he said that, remember when they land in Mumbai, they have to pass through Worli, which is my constituency. They have to pass through Baikala, which is, of course, a Sena stronghold. They have to pass through Parel, which is a Sena stronghold. So, obviously, the Sena leadership not yet quite giving in to any of the demands of the rebels, and the rebels find themselves holed up in a state thousands of kilometers away. And now, of course, Aditya Thackeray once again referring to NDTV's Saurabh Shukla's report from Surat, where he said these MLAs are being treated like prisoners there. He says, this afternoon again, he mentioned it here, and my colleague Saurabh Shukla had reported on how these MLAs were literally shoved into a bus in Surat. So obviously, that report, of course, being quoted by the Shiv Sena's top leadership again to show that many of these MLAs may be there against their will.
All right. So joining the BJP really could be a big gamble for these MLAs, which really means sort of what you're saying is that this is just the trailer, the movie is yet to come. Thanks for that, And Sanjay Roth, the chief spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, which is battling this rebellion led by their senior leader Eknath Shinde, today took a swipe at the rebel leaders camping in BJP-ruled Assam, saying, how long will you hide in Guwahati? You will have to come back to your party. He tweeted with an image of the Maharashtra Assembly Deputy Speaker, who has served notices to 16 of these rebel MLAs on the Sena's disqualification plea.